This is the first time in human history that people have reached the deep-sea world more than 10,000 meters below the surface. No one expected that in a place humans had never set foot before, there would be such a mysterious and incredible space. Here, humans can breathe freely and are completely protected from the crushing pressure of the ocean. This place was specially built by the ancient merfolk for the arrival of humans, because a human delegation was about to negotiate with them here. Ever since the merfolk revealed their existence to the world, this ancient species has demonstrated their extraordinary power. Countless tons of ocean trash fell from the sky and were returned to humanity. And this was only a warning. If humans want to reach a peace agreement with them, they must meet 3 conditions. And the third condition was clear. Humans must come to the deep sea and negotiate on the merfolk's territory. The merfolk envoy was extremely firm. To prevent a war between the 2 races, Buckley, the human representative, had no choice but to accept.
Okay.
To ensure the success of this unprecedented negotiation, the United Nations assigned Buckley 5 additional representatives. After a period of underwater training, the 6 of them boarded a plane and headed toward the target sea area. One of the representatives, Will, prepared a gift for the merfolk. A beautifully crafted globe. The others thought Will wanted to show the merfolk what the continents looked like. What they didn't know was that this globe would become the fuse that ignites a war between the 2 races. After arriving at the destination, the UN prepared a specially designed submersible for them. It was built to protect them inside from being crushed by billions of tons of seawater. Once everyone was inside, the crew sealed the hatch from the outside. Then, the submersible was slowly lowered into the ocean. Back on land, a UN task force monitored everything closely, afraid that anything might go wrong. But Kelly, the commander of the task force, never imagined that the moment the delegation entered the sea, several world powers would immediately turn against each other. The US representative was the first to speak. They rely heavily on maritime trade, so giving up the oceans was impossible. They even claimed they had already developed sonic weapons specifically designed to deal with merfolk. Soon after, the French representative and British politicians also rejected the merfolk's demands, because this involved everyone's interests. Worse still, they were already thinking about seizing the merfolk's abilities and exploiting deep-sea resources. Their greed was written all over their faces. Kelly strongly opposed their stance. This would absolutely trigger a century-defining war between 2 races, and humans might not even win. After all, the ocean covers 70% of the Earth, and humans know almost nothing about the deep sea. They also have no idea what kind of power the ancient merfolk truly possess. If what fell from the sky next time wasn't garbage but billions of tons of seawater, the consequences would be unimaginable. That's why Kelly insisted peaceful coexistence was the only solution. But her voice alone was far from enough. Even the British Prime Minister silently approved the intentions of the others. Meanwhile, deep beneath the ocean, the submersible had already descended to around 8,000 meters. Strange, twisted shapes surrounded them, some of them even moving. Suddenly, the submersible began to shake violently. Its descent speed skyrocketed, as if something outside had grabbed it and was dragging it downward. Everyone was on edge. The submersible was pulled several thousand meters deeper before finally coming to a stop after a series of violent impacts. The group hurriedly put on their protective suits. Then, an enormous force ripped open the steel hatch. Outside was complete darkness, yet no seawater rushed in. Gathering his courage, the general stepped outside and realized they were standing inside a massive underwater chamber. Above them, bioluminescent unknown creatures slowly writhed, forming a breathtaking spectacle. Everyone was stunned. Humanity truly knows far too little about the deep ocean.
Welcome.
The appearance of the merfolk envoy snapped them back to reality. This space had been specially constructed by the merfolk as the negotiation site. And just like on land, humans could breathe freely here. When the envoy removed Buckley's helmet, it proved that the environment was indeed safe for humans. But Will refused to take off his suit.
I'd prefer to keep this on.
As you wish.
The merfolk live much like nomadic tribes on human grasslands. They do not settle in one fixed place, but travel freely across the vast oceans. Every sea and every river on Earth is their home. Unlike humans, the merfolk have no concept of social hierarchy. To them, all intelligent beings are equal. Unlike humanity, which sacrifices countless species for its own interests. When the envoy finally led them to the negotiation site, they were completely shocked. Endless rows of merfolk warriors stood perfectly aligned, stretching beyond sight. The overwhelming visual impact completely shattered humanity's sense of superiority. This was clearly going to be a highly one-sided negotiation.
Welcome to our domain.